Welcome to this week's planning video. By this time, you hopefully have already watched our read aloud, Mud by Mary Lynn Ray. Our book is really about the changing of the seasons, and this week we're trying to tackle that interesting question of how do we write about weather? Take out your visualizing weather planning sheet. We're going to start by brainstorming a variety of words to help us describe different weather. If you look at your planning sheet, you see snow, rain, wind, sun, fog, and clouds. And we're going to take a minute to brainstorm some colors, some feelings, textures, senses you might experience during each of these examples of weather. As I brainstorm, if you have any ideas, write down yours. I'm going to come up with maybe 2 or 3 words of mine. As I come up with my words, I'm hoping you come up with some of yours that help you connect to these different types of weather. When it comes to snow, I think of snowflakes. I also think about a wood-burning fireplace because as I was growing up, we had a fireplace in our house that we would sit by during those cold winter nights. When it comes to snow and color, it's pretty easy. I think of white snow. Some of the textures with snow, I think of packing it when you're talking about building a snowman or a snow fort. So I might mention that you can pack it, you can pile it. So we pack the snow. There's footprints when you walk through it. And I've already come up with too many. I think I have so many great ideas when it comes to snow. I might be writing about snow this week, but let's go ahead and keep going. When it comes to rain, I think of, well, obviously, mud. This is related to our story. I think of the noise of rainfall, the pitter-patter. I'm going to put those in quotations because it's a sound. I think of the smell. It always smells a certain way before it rains. Wind, I think of a howl. I think of squinting your eyes because it's hard to see when things are blowing into them. I think of putting up my hood. Sun, I think of water. I think of t-shirts and shorts. Anything else I think of the sun? Oh, bright colors. The sun has a way of making everything so bright and beautiful. So I'm thinking of reds, orange, yellow, a lot of colors when it comes to the sun. Now, the exact opposite is with the fog. The fog really dulls the color. I think of grays and browns. I think of things being difficult to see. So kind of the opposite of sun, where the sun makes everything clear, but the fog makes everything unclear. Clouds, I think of really dark rain clouds. I think of high clouds that are kind of wispy and don't really have a form. And then I think of clouds that look like shapes. Sometimes they move fast, sometimes they move slow. And you can think of all these different descriptions of weather. For our writing this week, I want you to choose one of these types of weather to then go ahead and complete a chart of words to describe that weather using our senses. Now for me, since it's kind of the end of a season, all of the snow has disappeared, I'm starting to feel a little reminiscent of that wonderful snow. And I love snow so much. I love the spring, I love the summer, but when it comes to snow, it really has a special place in my heart. I'm going to write about a snow kind of mourning the loss of it, like it's kind of sad that the snow is gone. In some sense, it's a death of one season and it's the new birth of another. So I'm going to write about snow this week. Now, we've also had a lot of mud. As I was riding my bike through the river valley, I got mud all over my pants because the wetness of the snow mixing with the dirt. So you could absolutely write about a season that you want to, but I just feel a little reminiscent of beautiful white snow. I'm going to get into my plan. When it comes to snow, I think of what I see as white. I think of drifts, a flurry, uh, flakes. What else do you see in the winter? Snowmen, maybe like a haze or a fog that comes before the snow. When it comes to sound, I think of like the squeaking or the crunching of snow beneath your feet. I think of toboggans or sledding, of kids playing outside in the snow. Any other sounds I can think of when it comes to snow? Well, I got a couple. Let's move on to smell. Cold. My nose always gets like frozen, sort of ice. Other smells when it comes to snow. Certainly wet clothes, like your boots get all wet, or your snow pants, and you have to like dry them out by the heat register. I think of some things like hot chocolate or a fire as things that remind me of the winter, of snow, of things that are associated with snow. Taste, well, hot chocolate is both a smell and a taste. What else? Maybe some hot chicken soup. Tastes when it comes to winter, like candy canes. I'm starting to think of Christmas. I'm sure we've all had a mouthful of snow when we're sledding. We wipe out, we get snow everywhere. We can taste that sort of icy flavor. Any other tastes? Oh, coffee. I love coffee in the winter. Of course, that would be a great smell, actually. Because in the mornings, every morning, I smell the coffee brewing. Touch. Oh, this is great. So you can sort of pack the snow. You can dig in it. You can roll it. Pile it. Other touch. Oh, it's sticky. When it's a hot day, it can get all sticky and kind of gooey almost, and you can pack it really well. Mushy, maybe. It's more of like a mud, but it can apply to snow. Feelings. It's kind of a contrast in winter between warmth and cold, and maybe like a shiver, because you're in really cold environments and then you're in really warm environments, and you kind of go back and forth between extremes. Pulling up your covers, like snuggling in nice warm blankets. Yeah, I think of a lot of that when I think of winter. So this is my plan. I'm sure your plan looks quite a bit different, but I'm hoping that I've at least stirred some of those ideas for this week. Now, you can write a story very similar to our anchor book this week, where its focus is really about the weather, or you can write a story that includes an adventure or characters or a problem, but including these juicy details about weather. Maybe your character encounters a storm and is stranded, or maybe your character, if you think of extreme weather, like a tornado or a hurricane, and your character has to survive. This is a great way to start your story. The weather could be a problem that your character has to overcome. But anyways, I've got my plan for this week. I'm going to be writing about snow, about how much I miss it now that it's gone, even though I'm very excited about the summer. But it's your turn. Go ahead, complete your plan, and tomorrow we'll get to writing.